No one can give him. They'll give you a mic.
Okay. This is a question from Roger. My question is, this film came along in my life at a time of illness and enormously helped me understand my life. I'd like the panel to discuss the film's ideas of life and death.
I think, Anthony, you want to field? Should I?
Why don't you begin, Charlie? You wrote it.
Well, I don't really like to talk with. No, I feel like I should. First, I want to just tell you how much I appreciate that, Roger. That's very, very meaningful to me to hear that. I think the thing that I think about writing in general, and maybe not directly specifically about illness and mortality, but I think that the thing that anyone can offer, and maybe, in my opinion, the most, generous thing that anyone can offer as a creative person is their self, and that's really the only thing you can honestly offer, I think, and so. And the feeling is that if you come upon something that is, if you can be as honest as you can be, that it will maybe bridge a distance between you and other people, and recognize that, and bring people, make them feel less alone. I mean, it's sort of like really when I'm thinking like my noble goal is that I feel like that's a good thing to do, to recognize that we're not in opposition to each other, that we're all going through a very similar, with different specifics, but very similar process of being born and living and dying, and I think we live in kind of an alienating culture, which puts people at odds with each other. To what end, I'm not entirely clear. So, these are things that I think about. The mortality and the passage of time and the illness, and the worry about illness, and the concern about missed opportunities and missed connections with people. And that's what I tried to put in the movie.
And I do think that actually is something that, one of the reasons it's so moving is that you can share that with other people. It's sad, but you can relate to it, so it doesn't make you feel happy, but it makes you, it's somewhat comforting.
I mean, I really do feel that the most depressing things to me are happy movies that are
Yes.
lies. I get so hurt by those movies, because you just sort of, it forces you to aspire or be envious of something that is bullshit. And I'm not saying that all happy movies are bullshit, because I think there's honest happiness, but it isn't when it's a product that is being put out there to get people in a theater. It generally is a bunch of people in a room going, and I've been in these rooms, and these rooms are real, and they're not bad people. I mean, they're just doing their job, and they're making good products, but it's a product, and it's like, well, we can't have that here because people they don't want to leave the theater feeling that, this character is not likable enough, and we can't have this character, do drinking. I had, I'll try to not name any names here, but that was a note I got once, that a character wasn't likable because she was drinking alcohol, And I thought, wow, really? Do you like know anybody? I mean,
Well, it's when Charlie first sent me the script, and I read the script over it was around Christmas in 2005, I think, and as I was reading the script, I started kind of confusing the story that I was reading in the script. It was the first time that had ever happened to me in reading anything, that I had started confusing the story that I was reading with my own life. Because a friend of mine had just announced that he had ALS, which was traumatic for us, and there was all this stuff in the script about, Caden is a man who's turned to stone, and there's a character, like one of the character of Millicent Weems in the movie, who becomes the director. I started confusing it with my friend Marianne Weems, who's a theater director who does stuff that are big installations, and I thought, oh, that's why her name is Marianne Weems. That's why the character's name is Millicent Weems. And at a certain point, I had to stop myself and say, well, I didn't write this movie. It's like, this isn't the movie about me, but somehow I was being pulled into it as if it were my own life. And it was an incredibly emotional experience, and I think that's what the movie was for me when we finished making it, even though I had been there for all the little parts of the movie, the shooting and the music and all these other things, that watching it was another experience of watching, of intensely identifying with what's going on in the movie itself. So I understand. I saw this movie at a completely different point in my life than you did, Roger. But I also had that sense of this is my life playing out, and I think that the people who have that this movie, more than any other movie that I've been involved with, is a movie where people just respond to it in this incredibly identifying, emotional way. Who come out crying, or who come out, even the people who I think it explains a little bit why some people react badly to the movie, is because they possibly do start identifying with it and don't like what they see, and that's what I think this movie does.
Can I